Good morning, everybody. Welcome to MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. This is where we take a look at everything that's happening right after the open on the European markets. And right now, the story was the French elections, is the French elections, and will continue to be the French elections for the next 2 weeks. But all eyes are now turning to the ECB, the European Central Bankers. They're going to be meeting, and we're going to keep an eye on their statements. There's high doubt with all the political volatility, to say the least, that's happening on the continent, now in France, soon to be in Germany, as well as in Britain, that there's going to be a lot of hawkish statements at this juncture. Watching the trade right now, the euro-US dollar trade, taking a look at the currency markets, now that Le Pen is behind in the polls and the threat of a Frexit, France exiting the European Union, lessened until the actual vote until May 7th, you're seeing that the euro, it popped and has been holding up. It's flat this morning against the US dollar, as you can see from the pair trade, up very slightly, the euro is, but basically flat. We're going to watch that action very closely. The currencies are going to start to tip the hands of traders as far as when concern or lack of concern starts to come in with the current market situation, especially along political lines. Taking a look at the markets, though, the DAX trading up right now about 0.1%, 0.11%, up 13 points at 12,468. We are too getting into the earnings season in the European continent. The DAX had autos up. You did have an earnings miss, though, by SAP, but that didn't impact the stock. The stock's actually trading up even after the miss, up 1%. Puma also had a huge blowout to the upside in earnings. Stocks up considerably, up about 5%. On what has been solid earnings. So we're going to watch retailers pretty closely on the continent and just universally globally. Taking a look at that, we're going to take a look at the UK. And the UK right now up about 0.2%, 0.23% at 72.8140. That's good for a $16.60 move to the upside. You clearly see right now challenging that 20 and 50-day moving average. The bulls are trying to gain some sort of footing at this juncture, and we'll keep an eye on that. There has been some concern that maybe if the refiners or if energy start to take a little more pressure, miners taking some pressure, we're going to keep an eye on that in that sector. That could impact the UK. Also, too, they are going to be pushing for new elections. Prime Minister May put that out there. That did pass the Parliament. So again, the landscape now is going to be looking at what the ECB is going to be planning to do as far as considerations for monetary easing. They are saying they're going to back off pretty considerably, but with this political unrest that's going on in the continent, we're going to see how hawkish they're going to become. That could impact the FTSE, but energies have been sliding ever so slightly, seeing crude oil now and Brent both trading at critical levels, $49 on crude oil, and you're looking at $50, $51 on Brent. Those are areas you're going to want to watch very closely. There could be some pressure in the energy space, which could impact a lot of the large cap FTSE stocks. Taking a look at France and the CAC. The CAC right now is up about 0.3%. This is the best performing index in the European Union, up 1630 at 52.8510. Consumer names are really what are moving to the upside, and there was actually an interesting, as you can see from this headline, maybe you can see it below. Not only are stocks continuing to inch higher since Macron is still leading in the points by a significant margin against Le Pen, but there was an interesting M&A activity where Christian Dior the fashion subsidiary of Christian Dior, was purchased by Louis Vuitton. Now, Christian Dior is up 12% based on that acquisition of their fashion subsidiary. But we're going to watch to see if there's some more M&A activity, especially in the retail space and the high-end retail space. Watch that closely, especially names in France. They are hugely influenced by the activity in China. So watch that very closely and see how that dynamic plays out. If we see some uncertainty in China, that could impact some of these higher-end retail names, especially in France. All right, folks, that is it for On the Open at Europe. And join me at 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central Time. I'm going to be back on. I'm going to be covering everything that's happening here in the U.S. markets. We have a lot. Hey, Caterpillar, they announced, right? They announced had a blowout, beat earnings by 65 cents. Stocks up almost $6. The options were pricing in the potential for about a $4.60 move going into this event. It blew out by 65 cents. Stocks moved already outside of that estimated move. On that note, watch the earnings, and we're going to talk more about that on the opening bell here at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern Time here on MarketStream.live. See you then.